I will lift your name on high forever. I will glorify you forever. I want to lift your name, Lord, forever. I will bless you, forever. I want to sing praise to you forever. I want to lift my hands to you forever. I will love you forever. I will sing you the history of this country is very complicated in that slavery in America targeted the African American race, and that the slave masters had their own way to assault and abuse the women on their plantation, resulting in children who were mulattoes, quadroons, and octoroons. Many of these children, or descendants of the slaves, were able to pass into white society, and they had to do everything they could to separate themselves from their family in order to protect their secret. Some have never revealed their ancestry, but more and more people are coming forward and telling the truth that, in fact, they do have African American ancestry. And there are many people that don't look Black, but they are. Because in America, they had the rule, if you had one drop of Black blood, you were considered Black. And if your mother was the slave, you were a slave also. Very complicated history. So in the African American race, we have people who are midnight Black or blue Black, all the way to white skin, blue eyes, green eyes, gray eyes, red hair, black hair, brown hair. I've even seen a few blonde. I have cousins. My cousin is an African American, and one cousin is married to a man from India, and the other cousin is married to a Caucasian. Now you can tell one of her sons, he looks just like a person from India. He doesn't look, you wouldn't think he was African American at all. And my other cousin, his children are so fair, they don't look African American either, but you can tell that they're mixed with something. So there've been a lot of commotion and rumors, and some people say that Clark Gable was part Black, but he most definitely stood up for Hattie McDaniel and didn't tolerate people being mistreated when they had segregated bathrooms and so forth. He even tried to boycott the Gone with the Wind premiere in segregated Atlanta because African American actors like Hattie McDaniel and Butterfly McQueen were not allowed. But there's been a lot of speculation about his ancestry, and was he an African American or not? Now, the next person I really was surprised about. Here we have J. Edgar Hoover, the notorious J. Edgar Hoover, who was the head or the director of the FBI under several presidents. And this is a picture of him as a young man. And you look at the picture in the middle and the picture of the end, he looks like my great grandfather, who looked like a white man and could throw water on his hair and smooth it back. Now, whether my great grandfather had Native American or Caucasian heritage, we'll never know. But I've heard both. That and most African American people have African American and they have European and they have Native American ancestry. But if that's the case, he was like Adolf Hitler. There's even rumors that one of his parents had an affair, and that's how this came to be. But if that's the case, J. Edgar Hoover is just like Adolf Hitler, because Adolf Hitler spread the ideology that you had to have blonde hair and blue eyes, and Adolf Hitler didn't have blonde hair and blue eyes. So why did they even listen to him? But wouldn't that be interesting? Because he, in a way, he reminds me of Thurgood Marshall. Thurgood Marshall was very like that. But he made it his business to destroy civil rights movement and to stalk every black leader we had. Dr. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali, anybody, everybody. And a lot of people who chose to pass for white, it was like a chosen exile. They had to abandon their heritage. They had to abandon their African American roots. They had to abandon their African American family and never speak of it again. And a lot of times they witness family members being mistreated and other African Americans being mistreated, but they couldn't say anything. And for the last person, here we have Abraham Lincoln. Now, there have been many speculated that he had some either Native American heritage or he is somebody in his family passed for white. But he doesn't look like your typical European. He really doesn't. And it's unfortunate that Abraham Lincoln was born in a very racist family during one of the most racist eras in our country. And I'm not so sure that it's gotten any better. Now, some people believe Abraham Lincoln was of German descent because his grandfather wrote his name as Abraham Lincoln, and others believe he had English heritage. But there have been some new studies, and there are a lot of speculation that Abraham Lincoln and not Obama was our first black president. But others say that it has not been substantiated. And according to Lincoln's law partner, William Herndon, Lincoln had very dark skin, his cheeks were leathery, and his hair was dark, almost black. But it still hasn't been, it's considered unsubstantiated and not acknowledged by historians. President Warren G. Harding may have had African ancestry. And they say that his father was a mulatto and Harding's great grandmother was black. And his great great grandfather was a West Indian black. And there have been other black people in his family tree. Calvin Coolidge, mother Victoria Moore was claimed to be of a mixed race family in Vermont. And they said that the surname was derived from Moor, a European term for people of North Africa. Hmm. Dwight Eisenhower, mother was said to be of mixed blood from Africa and a mulatto. So it remains to be seen. So, you people out here who are always putting other races down, you better be careful because you really don't know who's in your family tree. You may have had some relatives who passed for white, and you're thinking they're Native American, but they're really black. And I personally, in my DNA test, my family comes from West Africa and some Eastern Northern Africa, and also Europe, and also Native American heritage. But when you see me, you would initially think that you would just say I'm an African American woman. But you can look at my lips, they're quite thin in comparison to the typical African American lips. My lips are not thick at all. And I've even had Caucasians, they told my mother that she looks like a Caucasian woman with dark skin or brown skin. My mother really doesn't have dark skin. So it really remains to be seen.